Okay, we are going to get the blog features that are built into Flaskinni online, and we will then also upgrade the text editor so it uses a new, richer text editor. Inside the core Flaskinni module folder, this guy here, you can see we have the MV and the T scaffolding here. So we have the MVT scaffolding here so that each component of the design pattern that we build in, so a model, a view, and a template, all are represented here. And this is the material built in the Udemy course for the blog, most of this. There's some like extra pages here that I've added, but the big ones, viewing all of the blog posts, editing or writing a blog post or reading an article, all of those views are there. Those templates, sorry, I'm using the other term. The view file is this here, and these are the routes for that. I've currently disabled some of the features as I tinker around with things. So we may be editing what the Udemy course built to simplify things as I get it online, but we can add those back in as needed. So the first thing that we can do is test some of these routes. Do any of the pages work already? You can see I don't have a blog button up here, so we're going to need to build that sort of thing in, but let's first make sure it's running. So I've got virtual environment loaded, my Postgres service kicked on, and it's running the server. So I can go to blog here, and we cannot go to blog because the blog page is, what is it? It's mad about the image? Is that really what it's upset about? Okay. 17 in blog.html. Which is funny because what that feature is, it's saying only load an image if there is one. And there isn't one, and it's crashing as a result. So image source is a property, but it's actually a method. So it's disguised as a property. It has this decorator. So that way I don't need to call a method on it. I can just call it like it's a property, but it actually does get the uploaded image. But that should only do that if there is an image, if self.image. It can't load it if there is none. So if there's an image, return that. Else, return none, because there is no image. So that should fix that problem, because now it'll return a none type, and so if this, it'll say, hey, give me the image, none gets returned, and that fails an if test. So this should get skipped over, and we should be able to load now. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it works. Cool. So the formatting on these articles looks like it could use some work. This is snugged right up on this, but I can now get to that page. I can get to an individual article page. This is just junk. I don't even know. And can I edit it? Yes, and I can edit. So I haven't tried attaching an image. We should do that. So I did upload an image, but now it doesn't show. Let's see if that's because inside the article itself I took out the image. I did. So we can use the similar thing here, right here, inside the article. Let's see if that looks okay. Alright, so yeah, the image does work. It needs a whole lot of formatting, but I'll clean that up later. The point is, that the various views all work. So I can view the list of blog posts. I can edit a blog post and view an individual blog post. Not well, but that's what we're going to work on. We need some navigation, and we need to clean up and do a little upgrades. Okay, let's start by making a link in our nav bar. So here we have our nav bar, and it's got admin options and my account. So let's just right here after about we can have blog, and the URL for is just going to be the same name as whatever this is called. So it's URL for blog index. And that'll give me a link there. Now I want to also make a new post. That should sort of go under admin. Here there's an example of how a menu can be a drop down. And so why don't we add in under admin the drop down option for the various admin activities, and we'll turn that into sort of a category. So I'm just going to take this current structure here for home, and it goes from li here. I'll replace where the current admin is. Right now I'm just going to admin index. So call this admin, and the first one was for and this is well, it's really Flask admin is what it so I'll just call that admin again. I can think of better names later. And the next one is new post, and this was URL for, and new post is just as you might guess. So, alright, save that. Server's still running. Reload it here, and admin now, and I can go to new post. There we go. And blog takes me to the article. Cool. Alright, now let's get this up to scratch. This, just a plain text box is too boring. We should have a rich text editor. There's this cool free editor that's out there called CKEditor that I heard about, and what's particularly nice is that we can just one command install that. And I've already done that, so if I press cancel, as long as virtual environment's active, you just hit that line, and that's it. I can do it again, and it won't do anything because it's already done. But it's cool. So the next thing that we have to do is instantiate the editor in our app. So that's not too hard because we do that with plenty of other extensions already. And so I just added that line here. And so the same place where we load our other extensions, we also have this CKEditor being created. And then when our app kicks up, I also added it here so that it gets initialized here. So because we use a number of extensions, we have them bundled in this file. That provides us a huge advantage, and it's important to understand why. You can see it's all about when you borrow something from another file, like we're doing here. When we're saying, hey, this guy, user models, give me these objects. That creates a one-way relationship. This file over here can't then go back and import this stuff over there. Two files can't import classes from each other. which can be a real pain, because if you're like, hey, I want to use this object from this other file, like a user class, bring it in here because I've got to set up some things. And then over there, if I created my database here, if I declared it, and over there I'm like, create a new column in my database for a thing in my user. They can't go back and forth. So while it may be tempting to declare these various objects when your app is starting up, by putting them in a separate file, it allows them to be more accessible, because now this sort of stands on its own in memory and allows it to have a sort of neutral place that multiple places can reference. Anyway, so now you're learned up a little bit. Cool. So now I need to load the JavaScript files on the page that will need them. And so let's just go into the the post page, post template, and I need to insert some JavaScript here. I don't want it on every page, so adding it to the JavaScript that's in the base and that loads every page is a problem. And they wanted it in the header too. Most of my JavaScript is down at the bottom anyway. But what I can do is I have these extra blocks just for this purpose, where that's listed, and so it allows me to use a view that extends that. I can call those blocks just how I'm using this block to insert stuff into the content. I can insert stuff into that block head, and drop that load command to load the JavaScript files necessary. Now, it's still rendering the body form in the old format, and that's because this render form body, this form is using the form that's created inside here. So this is the post form, and this is the body field that's loading there, and it loads a text area field. But if I drop this line in here, CKEditor, as this thing tells me to do, what I can do now is load one of these fields instead of a text area field. So now it's going to try to load that. It'll find the JavaScript necessary from this here, and that should be it. We'll see. Let's take a look. If I tried to go to a new... Is my app not running? My app is not running. Cool, it worked. I need to change up some sizing and formatting. But if I go to my current blog and view this, and edit it, and change this to bold, let's say, update that. Ooh. Actually, there was just a problem here. I just added this line, and now that problem went away. The formatting does show up. If I format something and update it, it translates. That's cool. So I don't think I have the ability to insert any images yet. Let's see what happens if I try to do that. Oh, okay, it allows me to insert a different image externally, but not upload it. It's not bad. Alright, that means the core functionality is working. I'll make another video just showing the cleanup process.